Hello, everyone, and welcome to the induction webinar. We've got a couple of people that's joined in. I'll give it a couple of minutes more just to allow everyone to log online, and then we will begin very, very shortly. So for those of you who are online now, I will be obviously doing the presentation, and then we will follow that up with answering some of your questions. There is a Q&A function on Zoom. So if you have any questions, please pop your questions in the Q&A, and then myself as well as my colleagues here will help me answer your questions. But hopefully this induction webinar should answer all your questions that you have with regards to our intern training program. Also, this will be also recorded, so we will send you a copy of the recording to you so you can rewatch it again. So what I might do is I might begin. So like I said, welcome joining online with us tonight for the induction webinar. This is obviously for the mid-year 2023 cohort. Before we begin, I would first like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land from which we all gather here tonight. So currently myself and my colleagues are on the land of the Turrbal and Yagara people in Brisbane, in Queensland. I would like to say thank you for allowing us to welcome the new interns to this program with this new cohort. I pay my respects to the elders, past and present and emerging, and recognise their continuing connection to the land, waters and culture. So first of all, I would like to do an introduction, of course. There is Khan, who's our National ITP Manager, who's here tonight with us. Did you want to say hi, Khan?
Thanks, Jade. Good evening, everyone, or good afternoon for those of you from WA. It's really lovely to have so many people log on tonight. We're really excited to welcome the next cohort. Lots of exciting things happening in pharmacy, and I understand quite a few of you have already started your supervised practice hours, which is fantastic. So we look forward to meeting you in the workshops.
Thank you, Khan. Now we've also got myself, Monique, and I've got Dylan and Kelvin, who weren't unable to attend tonight, but we are all clinical tutors, and we are responsible for marking your assessments. We take your queries through phone and email. We also run your intern training program workshops as well. So you'll be seeing our faces and hearing from us quite a lot throughout your ITP journey. But Monique, did you want to say hi while I have you online?
Hello, everyone. Welcome. We're really excited to have you for our mid-year cohort.
Thank you, Monique. We also have our ITP administrative officers as well. So we've got Bethany here tonight. We also have Rebecca, who was unable to make it. But Bethany, did you want to say hi to everyone as well?
Oh, hi everyone, good evening. You might recognize my name from all the emails. So yeah, looking forward to getting to know you all.
Thank you, Bethany. And of course, if you have any questions following tonight's webinar or even throughout your intern training program, please feel free to send through an email. We're more than happy to answer your queries. Of course, we also have a phone number as well that you can contact. So these guys will be answering your questions online throughout the tonight's webinar as well. So a snapshot of your intern year revolves around some APRA requirements as well as our intern training program requirements. So this includes your supervised practice hours, your exams, so both the oral exam and written exam. You also have your intern training program requirements, which is your assignments, your mandatory workshops, and some portfolio requirements, workplace-based assessments as well. So the goal of our intern training program is to get you ready, work ready for, general registration. So when you're being able to practice as a pharmacist without supervision, okay? So through our intern training program, I know we've gotten a lot of queries about the vaccination course. So yes, as Guild interns, you get complimentary access to the vaccination course that is within your state that you are practicing. We also have a special offer for complimentary enrollment with the MMR accreditation course. So that gives you the qualification to be able to conduct medication management reviews. So there is a stage 1 and stage 2, and while you are a current Guild intern, you do get complimentary access to that course, if that's something that interests you. Now, for those of you who are not enrolled yet, please enroll online. So there's a link there. You guys will get a copy of the presentation slides as well after the webinar. But otherwise, you can pop that into Google, and it's just a simple online form, which then goes to Bethany and Rebecca to attend to. So the course does officially commence on the 1st of August. So that's 2 weeks away, so it's coming up very quickly, but we still will be taking enrollment applications after that commencement date, so don't panic, okay? For those of you who may not have secured an intern position yet, we do have some listings on our website. So that's www.internpharmacist.com.au/positions. So you can jump online there and have a look. You can filter it through this to the state that you're currently in. But if you have not secured an intern position yet, I strongly encourage you to jump on that website. Now, I'm also gonna throw this in because as Guild interns, you do get complimentary registration to Pharmacy Connect. And Pharmacy Connect, for those of you who are based in New South Wales or heading to Sydney between the 31st of August and the 2nd of September, which again is coming up soonish, there is a Pharmacy Connect conference that you get free registration. It's very exciting. It's a great opportunity to network as well within the pharmacy industry, and it's definitely worthwhile. Okay. Now, you also get free registration to one of the biggest pharmacy conferences on the Southern Hemisphere, which is APP. I believe most of you should know or have heard of the APP conference. If you haven't attended one before, definitely it's worthwhile. And as Guild interns, you do get the full 4-day registration complimentary as well. Okay, so that does not include the street party. I'm sorry, guys. You'll have to pay for that as an add-on, but otherwise you get the full 4-day registration free as Guild interns, and that is happening between the 14th to the 17th of March 2024, and that's based in sunny Queensland on the Gold Coast. And it's a fantastic event. Even if you're not based in Queensland, I strongly encourage you, if you can, maybe negotiate with your preceptors and see if you can put in leave to visit the Gold Coast in Queensland and attend the conference, because it's again another fantastic opportunity to network with key stakeholders within the pharmacy industry, learn about what's happening in the pharmacy industry, especially with a lot of changes that are coming up as well. And it's a great opportunity to get some freebies as well. So a little bit more information about the VAX course will be released shortly. That can be found within your state-specific resources on the Guild Ed portal when you get access to that. And there will be some explicit instructions to follow on how to register or how to put in your expression of interest of wanting to attend a vaccination course. Okay, so these courses will be scheduled based on the numbers of expression of interest that we receive. Now, some key things too that you can do prior to your vaccination course is, of course, to ensure that you have your professional indemnities insurance. So that is required. It is a registration requirement as well. Now, as Guild interns, you do get free insurance with PDL. So for those of you who are currently holding provisional registration but have not got professional indemnities insurance, I strongly encourage you to jump onto the PDL website and join. When you go through and fill out the form and select that you're an intern, you shouldn't be charged for that membership. Okay, but please do that if you have not done so already. Now, with the MMR course or accreditation course that I mentioned at the beginning, that is an offer through the Australasian College of Pharmacy, and it's a fantastic opportunity to upskill yourself as well. So, like I said, as Guild interns, you get a special offer where the enrollment fee is waived for you, and only while you are a current Guild intern as well. So there are some instructions there on how to enroll, and that's optional, of course. It's not compulsory. It's if you wish, if it interests you. Now, in order to confirm your enrollment, so apart from completing the enrollment form online, there are a couple of additional steps that our administration officers will inform you that you need to supply. All right, so that's that email that you receive after you've completed our enrollment and things. This includes your provisional registration, a copy of your pharmacy degree, a signed intern and preceptor ITP agreement form, of course, payment detail forms, and you activate your Guild Ed account. So once and as well as ideally your PDL insurance. Now, once you have addressed all of that, you'll then receive an email from our administration officer saying that you're fully enrolled and here's your, access to the online portal. Okay, so that's, if you haven't received that final email, that might be because you're still required to supply some of the one of these details that's listed here. Okay, so here's a quick snapshot of the portal and what the portal will look like to you when you get access. So it looks a bit like that, and you do need to have a Guild Ed account, which our admin officer will let you know how to set that up. And just make sure you select yourself as an intern. Now, when you first get access to the portal, start at the Start Here tile. All right, it's pretty straightforward. It's got the key information. It's also got it will have a copy of the recording of this webinar as well, if you wish to rewatch it. So under that tile, you'll find the copy of this intern year framework. So this intern year framework is a guide, all right? It's a guide on how to plan your ITP coursework throughout your internship year. So this, we have two versions of the intern year framework. The main one is the standard one, which plans out your ITP coursework over a 9-month period. Okay, so we highly recommend it. It lets you, foresee, okay, the first month of my ITP or internship, what do I need to have completed? Okay, and all that. Of course, you can customize it yourself. All right, we just provide this as a tool, and how you use the tool is up to you. So, along with planning your ITP coursework, but you also need to calculate your supervised practice hours and when you'll be eligible to sit your exams. So for your exams, you do need to have completed a minimum of 75% of your supervised practice hours, okay? And that's in order to sit either the written exam or the oral exam. Of course, have backup options as well with your plan. Always have a plan B to your plan A, and use your intern year framework to help assist you. Now, I'm obviously now going to talk a bit about the Guild ITP coursework. And like I said earlier, it does compromise of some assignments. It also includes compulsory workshop attendance as well. It also includes your portfolio. So when you get access to the online portal, the first thing I would encourage you to do is explore it. Click on the different tiles, have a look what's available on the portal, because there are a lot of resources available to you, along with obviously where you would submit your assignments and your workplace-based assessment tools. There's also access to some resources, and of course your monthly communications will go there too. So in terms of the actual, I guess, assignment part, your assessments are broken up into 3 submission times. So your week 9 submissions, your week 18, and your final. So your week 9 submissions, you've got a preceptor evaluation, so that should be completed with your approved preceptor. You've also got your first assignment, which is made up of multiple choice questions and short answer questions. You then also have what we call workplace-based assessments. So I'll actually talk about a bit about those a little bit in the next few slides, but you've got a couple of requirements there. Your week 18 submission is practically almost pretty much identical to week 9. You also have to complete another preceptor evaluation to see how well you progress about halfway into your internship. You've got your second assignment, which is also made up of multiple choice questions and short answer questions. And it's, again, you've also got to provide some workplace-based assessments as well. In your final submission, you've got your final preceptor evaluation. Now we've got some additional requirements, and these are your pharmacy board requirements. So this includes things like your introduction, training plan, your CPD requirements, first aid and CPR, extemporaneous, and also a final declaration that you have provided all your requirements for your portfolio. You then also have, again, your workplace-based assessments, and the one additional component there is your health promotion activity. So please be mindful that with regards to all your assessments, there is a turnaround with marking, and it can take up to 4 weeks to receive your markers' feedback. However, please do not wait for our feedback. Just continue to progress through the coursework, okay? And then you'll receive your feedback, okay? Now, upon your enrollment with the intern training program, as well as it will be available on the portal as well. There is also a manual. So there's a manual for you as interns, as well as a manual for the preceptors as well. All right, so this manual has a lot of information, all right, in there, and you'll find extremely helpful for your intern training program. So I strongly encourage you to please have a look through it. It's got your due dates or suggested due dates as well for your coursework. For the preceptors, we also have 4 online modules as well. They're not compulsory, but they are CPD accredited. So feel free to complete those, and that might give you some support, some suggestions on how to mentor your interns as well, especially those of you maybe who are new to the preceptor role and are feeling a bit uncertain. We strongly encourage you to complete those modules because you also get some CPD as well. So in a nutshell, that summarizes the requirements of the your intern training program. I have highlighted that the supervised practice hours is currently 1,575 because currently the COVID addendum is currently in place, which is on my next slide. So currently, if you jump onto the Pharmacy Board website, internships page, if you haven't done so, it's a very, very important web page you should be bookmarking onto your web browser. It's got, again, a list of all the requirements for your internship. And of course, it does have a section there regarding your supervised practice hours. So currently, the COVID addendum is still in place, and your required supervised practice hours is 1575. And this is the number you'll be calculating to review your eligibility for your exams as well. So in order to obviously become generally registered, you need to complete your minimum supervised practice hours, you need to pass both the exams, and you need to complete an accredited intern training program, and that's us. All right. Once you've ticked all 3 requirements, you're ready to apply for general registration. So I mentioned about the Pharmacy Board internships page earlier. That's just a screenshot there. Definitely, I highly recommend you to bookmark that, because that is really important, and you'll find a lot of helpful information on this web page throughout your internship. Another page that's really important would be the Australian Pharmacy Council page as well, because they will also be facilitating your written exam. Okay. Now, here are just a summary of some key dates throughout this cohort. So, of course, we've got the commencement date as well as some conference dates, and also when the period that we will be running the workshops as well, which I'm going to talk about now. So, for your workshops, they are compulsory. You will not be able to complete your intern training program unless you attend both mandatory workshops as well as meet the attendance requirements. Okay, so for your cohort, the workshops are delivered predominantly online. We do offer a face-to-face workshop in Brisbane. Okay, as well. So for those of you who are in Brisbane, we do encourage you to come to our face-to-face workshops there. Under this tile, you'll also find some information about the workshops on your online portal. So for the workshops, they all start at 8:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time and finishes at 5 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. All right. So the attendance is compulsory for your completion. Please notify your preceptors as early as possible for rostering purposes, of course, so that you have the day off. Okay, you should not be doing your attending your workshop online at work. All right, because then we are unable to confirm your full undivided attendance. Okay. Because the workshops are predominantly online for this cohort, your camera must be on. We need to be able to see you. You can also count these hours to your supervised practice hours. Okay. For those who are attending face-to-face in Brisbane, it's actually going to be held in our office at the Pharmacy Guild in Queensland. Okay. Now, with workshop 1, you guys will be allocated. So upon enrollment, you will receive an email to confirm your workshop 1 dates. So make sure you let your please arrange to have those 2 days off with your preceptor. It is a 2-day workshop. So our workshop 1 is predominantly about quality use of medicines and practice. And it talks about, obviously, our ITP program overview. It gives you more information about the assessment, so you have a better understanding on how to attempt or complete your assessments. We talk a bit about cultural safety. We do a couple of case studies as well, and some practice questions to give you a bit of a taster on your the type of questions you may receive in the exams. You then have your workshop 2. So workshop 2 is fully dedicated to exam preparation. All right. So we actually spend the full 2 days going through practice cases for your oral exam and written exam. And because we do that, this workshop should be attended before you do your exams, okay? Otherwise, to make it worthwhile for you as well. So you will receive a booking invitation, all right? And this will be emailed to you. This will be after you've been allocated your first workshop. And that will give you the opportunity to select which workshop date you would like to attend that will be before your exams. So we have, because not many of you should be eligible to sit the October exams, that will be up to our invitation only. Otherwise, the bulk of you would be attending the February exam, and those workshops are held between November this year to January next year. And then we've got the workshops in May for those interns who are sitting the June exams. Anything after that, we just haven't confirmed dates yet. So they will be released once made available. Of course, our ITP is very flexible. So you can complete your coursework at a pace that suits you. All right. So we understand that you're trying to work full time, even if you're working part time. You've also got your own personal commitments as well. You know, there's a lot of things that are going on, you know, in your life besides ITP. So we're very flexible in that if you need an extra week or an extra month to complete your assignments, that is perfectly fine. Again, that's up to you. When you finish your intern training program will be determined on when you submit your assessments to then eventually complete all the requirements and then us issuing your certificate. We have some suggested timelines, which is an accelerated 6-month timeline and the standard 9-month timeline. But like I said, it's not concreted. There's definitely flexibility around that as well. Of course, if you're needing to take a break in the middle of your intern training program, we do have an extension request form that we would like you to complete to then just to keep us up to date as to when you wish to recommence your intern training program. So this is again a snapshot on those suggested due dates for the 6-month timeline and the 9-month timeline, but these dates can actually be found in your intern manual. Okay. Now, with regards to your assignments, they are found under your week 9 and week 18 submission folder under those tiles there. So when you click onto those tiles, it'll look a bit like this. All right. So your assignment component is that chunk there. So you've got your multiple choice quizzes, which you complete them electronically online. We also have a PDF that's also uploaded on that screen. So if you go back, it's underneath here. All right. So that allows you to view all the multiple choice questions. You can go and do your research if required. All right, you can answer those questions on that PDF, but you need to transfer them online for you to be marked competent for that assessment. Okay, you get 2 attempts online. However, if you were unsuccessful to meeting the minimum requirement for the multiple choice questions, just send us an email and we can let you reattempt that assessment. Now, section B is the short answer question. So this is in the form of a Word document, and it gives you different case studies, different scenarios that we require, I guess, your written response on how you would approach each scenario, how would you handle it, and do a bit of problem solving, okay? And it's really, that assessment is designed to assess your ability to apply your clinical knowledge that you acquired in university, or your many years of practice as a pharmacist in your home country as well, into practice in Australia. And then you will submit that online, and you will receive feedback by a clinical tutor. And like I said, it may take up to 4 weeks to receive that feedback. But please proceed with all your assessments. Do not wait for our feedback. For all your assignments, referencing is mandatory. We don't specify any particular style of referencing, but we do have a list of examples there for you as suggestions. But you are required to provide references for all your answers. Otherwise, we will request you to resubmit your assessment if you have not provided any referencing. The other thing that I need to highlight as well is plagiarism. It is unacceptable to plagiarize another intern's work, whether that be a current intern or past intern as well. So we've got a couple of different definitions of what plagiarism is, which is pretty much either directly copying sentences of whole paragraphs of another, intern's work, submitting another intern's work, or it's the work's been written by somebody else on your behalf. Okay, so these are not tolerable, and if we detect that, we may also ask you to resubmit your assignment as well. And we are a very small team, so we pick up these things very easily as well. So you've got your preceptor assessment. So this is an example. So they will be at the top of each of your submission files. And these assessments are completed with your approved preceptor, and they are to assess, your competency level. Okay. So your week 9, week 18, we don't expect you to be fully competent in all areas because you're still at the first half of your internship. You're still learning. All right. But this is a great tool for between you and your preceptor to identify areas where you do need further improvement and hopefully see a change in improvement between your week 9 and week 18 evaluation. There is also your final preceptor assessment, and that's completed at the end of your internship when you're submitting your portfolios, and you will need to be marked competent in all areas. If your preceptor is unable to mark you competent in all areas, this is a good opportunity to have that discussion with your preceptor, what you could do to meet that requirement. All right, what can you do to demonstrate that you are competent for whichever topic that you've been marked as not yet competent? Okay. So these competency standards come from the National Competency Standards Framework for Pharmacists in Australia, which is published by the PSA. Now, workplace-based assessments. So your workplace-based assessment tools do take a large component of your ITP assessments. And now there are 3, types or categories of workplace-based assessments. You've got your case-based discussions, your entrustable professional activities, and your in-training assessments. Now, these are broken down further with certain activities, and all these activities shouldn't be anything that you're not completing or doing in your workplace. So we're actually going to explore about workplace-based assessments in your first workshop. So I'm not going to spend too much time in this webinar because otherwise I'm going to go over time. But in your first workshop, we will be talking about each workplace-based assessment a bit more in depth, so you have a good understanding on the requirements and how to approach each of these assessment tools. Okay. But we do also have a tile on our portal called Workplace-Based Assessment Tools. While you have access to the portal, I strongly encourage you to have a look, have a read. There are examples on how each a template's completed, and that's the expectation on how we want you to complete each assessment. There's also videos as well, so those videos are helpful. They'll give you a good understanding as well on how to complete each assessment. So the workplace-based assessments are designed they're made up of activities and tasks that are considered essential in pharmacy practice. So this includes dispensing, counseling, and compounding, just to name a few. These assessments are designed for not only for us, but for your preceptor to assess your progress and development as a pharmacist throughout your internship. And ideally, at the end of your internship, you should be marked pretty much competent in all of these areas because you are ready for general registration. So again, there's guides, there's templates, there's exemplars, there's videos on the web, on the portal. please have a look at it. There's also guides for your preceptors as well, so that might be useful for them as well. Now we have the final submission. So there are obviously similar components, but with the addition of your pharmacy board requirements. So that's listed here. So your intern portfolio or your final submission is made up of 8 components, a mix of your workplace-based assessments as well as your pharmacy board requirements. All right, so for each of these assessments, there are templates, and we require you to complete each assessment using these templates. So with regards to your intern portfolio, because it is a lot, there are many components of it, we encourage you to start early. All right, so don't leave it to the end of your internship to start working on your portfolio. There's definitely components of your portfolio you can start now, especially things like your training plan. All right, your training plan is a list of topics on what you need to cover throughout your internship. It's also a great guide for you, for those of you who are unsure where to start, what topics to cover in preparation for your exams. Your training plan is pretty much like a checklist to make sure that you cover all the areas to ensure that you have a good understanding of, pharmacy practice in Australia, as well as, getting you ready for your exams, and ensuring that you are competent in all areas. Of course, your CPD is another thing you can start looking at, start working through. You create your CPD learning plan. That learning plan should be created at the beginning of your internship, as per your pharmacy board registration requirements. Health promotion and oral presentation. So they need to be, of course, of the same topic. There is a good explanation on the health promotion and oral presentation requirements in your intern manual. Please have a read and have a discussion with your preceptor. What's a good, topic that maybe you're both on board of, that you're interested in to do your health promotion on? Is there maybe an upcoming, or a health awareness week or month that's, in the next few months that interests you, that you might like to do your health promotion then? So these are the things that you want to think about, as well as compounding. So in your pharmacy, are you able to do the compounding requirements? Or if not, then, what are your options that enables you to be able to compound your products? Some useful resources to make sure you bookmark, and you'll find it very helpful throughout your internship, is listed here. So, of course, the pharmacy board website, and your standard codes and guidelines, your APC website, the Guild Ed, because you'll be using that a lot throughout your internship. We do have a Facebook page as well. And of course, please ensure that you save our email in your inbox so that our email doesn't go to junk. We do send monthly communication through the emails. We send you workshop notifications or reminders. So it's really important that our emails don't go to junk, because you might miss some really important information if that happens. And like I said, PDL, please make sure you have professional indemnities insurance. Really, really important. Other recommended resources that we suggest that you might find useful throughout your internship for your assignments and as well as exam preparation. We've got some listed here, and they're just to name a few. Okay. As Guild interns, you do get access to the electronic therapeutic guidelines, and that's accessed through the Guild Ed portal. So it's that button right there. Okay, so when you get access to that, you should be able to click on that, and that will give you access to the ETG. For your MIMS, you also get access to eMIMS. We will email you your login details, okay, for that one. Of course, we also have some important resources in your state-based with your state-based legislations, and that can be found under the state-specific resources tile as well, because that obviously varies between state to state. And the other thing we want to also mention as well is to ensure that you take every opportunity to network within the pharmacy industry. So not only we have, of course, the conferences that I've already talked about, but we've got other platforms in which you can network, and it's not only with the Guild, but also with PSA, with SHPA, with every other organization within the pharmacy industry. There is many different platforms that gives you opportunity to connect and network. Again, here are our communication details as well. So our phone number as well as our email address, our website as well. There's some details on there that you might find useful. So I think we had some, I could see there was like a lot of questions coming through the Q&A. So let's see if there's anything I can help with. Okay, so there's a question about the AMH. Oh, yep, okay. So I'll answer the question about the AMH. So in terms of resources or age of resources, we do address this in the workshops. There is no limitation on the age of your resources. However, your exams are based off current guidelines. So that will be, as of right now, the AMH 2023, APF 25, okay? And, you know, current pharmacy board guidelines and etc. So you can use older resources. However, what I would encourage you to do is identify what information that is in your AMH 2019 is actually outdated, all right? Because if you recommend, especially for your oral exam, if you're recommending outdated information, that is not, you know, that's not, I guess, our responsibility as pharmacists is that we provide up-to-date current recommendations and guidelines, right? That's how we practice as pharmacists. So if you're giving outdated information, that's not meeting that kind of like registration standard and professional standards. So therefore, it would be, you know, inappropriate in that case. So you can use the resources, but please be mindful of that and be aware of what's outdated and ensure that you do provide current guidelines and recommendations. What's this one? Yes, so you will receive a copy of the presentation slide after the webinar, and this will be sent through as an email. So we'll send a copy of the recording as well as a copy of the presentation slide. So all those website and links, you'll be able to click on it and you can mark them straight away. So the question about, so if you join the internship program, the program will help us find a place to complete the hours required. So no, we do not arrange that for you. So you will need to do that yourself. What we do offer though on our website is current positions that's advertised. So you can, there's contact details and information on how to apply for that position. So what you'll need to do is reach out yourself and to those details on our website to I guess apply for that current internship role. What's the next one? So what is the most benefit of choosing the Guild program than other internship program? That's a great question. Of course, I can't speak for PSA or the university intern training program. So all I can speak of is for our program. So our program does include a lot of bonus addition is what I would like to say. So we do, just like the other ITPs, we offer the vaccination course. We also offer the resources like ETG and eMIMS, and as I'm aware, they also offer that as well. You'll find that the coursework is very similar between all the accredited intern training programs because they're all accredited under the Australian Pharmacy Council. So because we're all accredited by the Australian Pharmacy Council, there is a certain standard and requirement for all the assessments. So you'll find that there will be a lot of similarities around that. However, we do offer, of course, the free registration to the two big pharmacy conferences, which is Pharmacy Connect and APP 2024. Along with that, we also have the offer with the MMR accreditation course as well, which is a great opportunity for you to upskill yourself. It is an extra qualification that you do get if you successfully complete that course. And I myself am an accredited pharmacist as well. So if you have any questions about accreditation, feel free to ask me about that, especially if you have me in the workshop, or you can send through an email, or you can jump on the Australasian College of Pharmacy website as well. They do have a section for MMRs, and you can read about it and learn more about what that course offers and whether that's something that interests you. But that's also saving you a couple $100 as well for that course to enroll for free, really. So I think if you add it all up together, I think it's like over $2,000 or over $2,000 of extra bonus inclusions with your ITP, with the guild. Okay, is it 1 year course, or can we finish early if we submit assignments early? Yep. So look, it's not, like I said, there's no minimum or maximum requirement to completing your intern training program. It's entirely up to you. And that's purely based on when you submit your assignments. All right. So you submit your assignment, expect up to a 4-week turnaround. If you submit your assignments before the due date, fantastic. We'll obviously see that and we'll mark it anyway. And then that means you've completed that assignment before the due date, or depending on how early you submit it. And then, of course, once you submit all the ITP coursework requirements, you've met our requirements, and then we issue you your completion certificate. Okay, so entirely up to you, really. So you most certainly can finish your ITP before earlier than a year. But yeah, that's entirely up to you. Should I count my hours on the APRA form every week or one time at the end of the year? Okay, so great. That's a great question. I would strongly encourage every intern to get into the habit of recording your hours on a weekly basis, because anything can happen. And unfortunately, we have had situations with other interns where, their preceptor's gone maybe on leave, on holiday, or have had to take a break, maternity leave, or have to resign or change jobs, and the intern was unable to get in contact with that preceptor because they are the only ones that can sign off of your supervised practice hours, and unfortunately they've lost those hours. So there's no way around it, unfortunately. So if you get in the habit of getting those hours signed off on a weekly basis, you're not going to be put in that situation. Okay, so just make it a routine is what I strongly encourage you to do. So where do we log the supervised practice hours? So that's on the SPWR 60 form. So that form, you can find it on the Pharmacy Board website under the internships page. I think if I go back the slide, this one. Okay, so there's Pharmacy Board's internships page. So you'll find it on that web page there. All right. And you can record those hours. And like I said, only your approved preceptor is permitted to sign off those hours. Once you've completed those hours and you're ready to apply for general registration, there is a stat dec section. So you'll need to get an approved witness to sign off that stat declaration. Do we need 40 CPD points to renew provisional registration? Yes. So your CPD credit requirements is an annual requirement. So that means that for that year that APRA has given you provisional registration, you need to complete your minimum required, which is 40 CPD credits. If you're up for expiring of your provisional registration, of course, you need to make sure you complete those 40 CPD credits in order to renew your provisional registration. And then that's a new year that starts, and then you'll need to do another 40 for the next provisional year. Okay, it's an annual requirement.
Jade,
oh yes,
I think you're doing a really good job answering the questions, but I am sort of scrolling through and finding a lot of them are very similar.
okay.
So I
Is there
might
anything?
just ask, yeah, maybe what I'll do is I'll just do a bit of a summary on some of the questions. There's a lot of questions regarding 40 like CPD generally.
Yes.
Okay, so CPD is always something that's very controversial, and I know a lot of interns get very anxious about it every year. And a lot of the information about CPD we do provide in the workshop 1. Okay,
Correct.
so don't feel like this is never going to, the information is not going to be provided to you again. So if you register and enroll into the program, we will go through all this information again in more detail in workshop 1. So
Yes.
you don't need to feel like, if you have any questions, then we go through it pretty thoroughly. So I don't think that you need to worry about that right now. Extemporaneous is always a very popular one as well. And depending on where you practice, we do have solutions for you. But what we suggest is you don't actually have to have a real prescription. If you're in a pharmacy that does not, offer a service like that, a compounding service to the public, we just ask that you use a few simple preparations, and we usually have a few examples that are very basic, and your preceptor just needs to be able to sign off on your competency. So basically show that you can use aseptic technique to prepare some preparation. So ointment, cream, paste, just pick a few things that are really simple, and you don't need to, it could be a mock prescription. It doesn't need to be a real existing prescription or patient. Okay, so you can actually just make it up. So long as the formula is something that you can actually make within the pharmacy itself. The other thing is there's questions about the resources. So we only provide the eMIMS and e-therapeutic guidelines complimentary. So the AMH is one that we really highly recommend that you purchase, and that will be really helpful for your exams because you can take a hard copy into the written exam, and that's a really helpful resource. And maybe just if you purchase it, start putting bookmarks in and marking some of the pages to assist you with your revision. So those resources will also help with you answering questions in the assignments and the assessments. And then there's also a lot of questions about the MMR HMR course. So there's actually a restructure going on at the moment with the MMR course. So we are still going to offer the interns access to that. So how that will look, it may not be stage 1 and stage 2 anymore, but it is going to be offered to you within the first 6 months after you register. So if you are interested, please still email us so that we can send you the details of how to enroll. But your intern year is going to be very busy, and if you want to actually do it, it's possible, but we don't suggest that you do it during the intern year because it's a lot of work. And if you're very if you're very ambitious and you want to, by all means go ahead, but I would suggest that you wait probably until towards the end of your intern year. I'd probably use that time to prepare for your exams instead. It's going to be better utilised for that. And then there's a few questions about immunisation courses. So the immunisation courses, depending on where you live, will be scheduled, and we normally invite the interns, and obviously you need to have a CPR and first aid course certificate provided to us to be able to vaccinate in the pharmacy. And there's a few other components as well. And we do provide the courses face-to-face. So it's a blended learning. You do online modules and you do the practical workshop, which is face-to-face. Okay, so if you actually participate in that, it actually gets you full CPD. So you don't need to worry about it so long as you attend and you are successful as well. Workshops, the links are normally sent out and you are allocated. So you're either allocated or you can register. It just depends when you enter and you enroll into the ITP. We normally suggest that you don't attend the workshop while you're at work. Please actually ask for the time off from your preceptor, because this is really important. They're compulsory. You can record them as supervised, as supervised practice hours, but you will need to be present. Okay, so if you are in the workplace and not really concentrating and getting interrupted, or you're at home and not able to actually turn your screen on, online, then, we have the discretion to mark you as being absent or ask that you reattend. Okay, so it's very, very important and it's compulsory. If you are not ready to sit your exams, please do not feel like you have to sit with everybody else just because your friend is or your preceptor wants you to. The exams are very timely, very costly. So, we strongly suggest that you work as many hours as you can. And, obviously you need to feel confident. You could be competent, but if you're not confident, then there's no point in actually sitting the exams. So I can't stress that enough. Because it ends up being very expensive. And the other thing is, I think if you don't do very well, then it actually impacts on your confidence, and then it just takes longer to register. So that's what we recommend. If you miss a workshop, usually we can put you into another workshop, and the workshop, depending on where you are. So if you're in Queensland, we are planning to hold a face-to-face workshop in Brisbane. Otherwise, in the other states, it depends on the numbers, because the mid-year cohort is usually a little bit scattered. So there's a lot of people in a lot of different areas. And so we usually hold the workshops online. Okay, so we've been doing this for a long time online, like since COVID. So we're very experienced with it, and the process is actually still really effective. You'll get a lot out of it. If you can attend face-to-face, I suppose, we recommend that, but the vaccination workshops will always be face-to-face. Okay. All right. But I think that's a good summary of all the questions that have been asked.
I think so, fun. Yeah.
All of this is going to come up again in your workshop 1. Okay, so we go through pretty much the induction webinar again, but we break it down, and then if there's any specific questions, we can go through it with you during those 2 days. Okay, so that's why they're 2 days, and we need you to be present. So present and focused as well. I think that's all.
I think so. I'm just replying to some of the questions. That's just that I can answer. If we haven't answered your questions, feel free to send us an email, because we are obviously limited on time. But yeah, please, because I know there's quite a lot of questions that's come through. So if we have not attended to your question, feel free to send us an email. I might jump back to quickly that slide. Yep. There. So yeah, please send us an email, and we're more than happy to email you a response as well. But thank you again for everyone for taking the time this evening or this afternoon to attend online to our induction webinar, and we look forward to seeing you hopefully in our workshops and throughout the program, really. Thank you.
Thanks everyone. Good night.